describing a bhakta, a devotee. Mayeva anadatsva, may buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayeva, ata urdhun samshaya. So this bhakta is the one, devotee, whose mind and intellect, both of them have become one with Ishvara, meaning that with his intellect all the time thinking about Ishvara, knowing him, with his mind always having devotion for Ishvara. Nivasishyas, that he lives in God, oneness with God. So how is that person? It's described in the verses, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, one who has no dvesha, no hatred for anybody. Sarvabhutanam, that includes all kinds of people. Now we also may not have hatred for many. But how about people who hate you? No, that's how I do. What about those who hate me? I don't hate them, but they hate me. Then automatically hatred comes out. But here, imagine this person has totally become free from capacity to hate. There is no capacity to hate. Regardless of what happens, hatred just does not arise in his heart. What kind of heart it must be? Now how can we try to do that? So in case of this person, even if somebody who hates him, even for that person also, normally we react right away. When somebody hates us, right away hatred comes out from our heart also. If somebody dislikes us, we start liking, disliking immediately. That's our immediate reaction. So that reaction does not arise in him. Why do we hate somebody? When we feel hurt by that person. When somebody hates us, somebody insults us, somebody causes harm to us, makes a sense, creates a sense of hurt, then we react. So understand that the reaction is because of a sense of hurt. Suppose you don't get hurt, then there is no reaction, you see. If somebody's action or behavior does not cause hurt in you, then it will not cause any reaction in you. Our reaction of hating somebody arises from a sense of hurt. This person doesn't get hurt. You see a mother, does she get hurt even if a child hurts her, for example? Sometimes children do behave in a strange way, and they behave. I've seen children, sometimes he comes and starts hitting the grandfather. Some little guy starts slapping his grandfather. Something happened to his mind. But the grandfather didn't slap him back. He didn't hate him. He knows where the child is coming from. The child doesn't understand what it is doing. Whatever the behavior of that little child doesn't affect the parent because the parent knows the child doesn't understand. Then you know that in spite of the hateful behavior, basically the child loves me. So you realize the hateful behavior as something which is incidental, something that is not the true nature, and the true nature of the person remains as loving nature. So also a wise person's heart has become so large-hearted that even if somebody hates, that does not create any reaction, he continues to be compassionate to that person. Maitra, Karuna, Evacha, he is Maitra, he is friendly to all, affectionate to all. Karuna, because he is compassionate to all. So those who are in distress or pain, automatically there is compassion in the heart of this person. Yoga Shastra teaches us certain attitudes that we can adopt in our day-to-day interaction with people. Yoga Shastra says, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, upekshanam, sukha dukkha, punya punya vishayanam, bhavanatah, chitta prasadah. How can we maintain the cheerfulness of our mind in interacting with people? We get disturbed when we interact with people. Sometimes somebody's behavior hurts me, sometimes there is jealousy, sometimes there is dislike, sometimes there is aversion. These little things come. And thus our mind is usually disturbed. We hardly enjoy the interactions. See, what is enjoying life is enjoying interaction with people. That's what our life is. Watching TV and all that stuff is for a limited time, but most of the time we are working in the world and interacting with the people. And many of these interactions become cause of distress rather than cause of pleasure or joy, because they invoke sometimes a dislike, a hurt, a guilt, etc. Yes, jealousy. So Yoga Shastra says, Sukha dukkha punya punya vishana. Sukhi, dukhi, punyashali, papi. 4 kinds of people. Sukhi people are happy, dukhi people are in distress, those are virtuous, and those are vicious. 4 kinds of people. You know? Happy people, people who are unhappy, people who are virtuous, people who are vicious. Usually when we encounter a happy person, we feel unhappy. When you see somebody happy, generally it's amazing that we become unhappy. Either there is jealousy, envy, something. When you see a person is unhappy, then you feel happy. Particularly when you dislike a person, and when you see him unhappy, then there is a happiness in your heart. A cool pleasure you get by seeing your adversary unhappy. If your adversary is happy, you become unhappy. If he is unhappy, you become happy. This is a distortion of our own mind. When you see somebody who is virtuous, you start becoming jealous of that person and start finding faults with him. Swami is all that, he is good only when Swami is with you. You will see that person's behavior is outside. When you sometimes say, Swami, I tell this person, look how good this person is. But he cannot stand this. We cannot stand the goodness of others. Somehow we are inclined to always find evil in everybody. Typical example. When I praise somebody, how nice this person is, how well behaved. Swamiji, it's all only when he is in before you, you will see that person's behavior when he is outside. He is not like what you think. We seem to get satisfaction by believing that people are not virtuous, they are not good. Because we think that we are not good, so we like to believe that everybody is not good. So when we find somebody not good, we get some kind of vicarious satisfaction. You know, a person is vicious, I feel I'm good, holier than thou, this is another thing, holier than thou. So many people are dishonest. Look at this person, he's telling lies. Who am I? I'm an honest person. So holier than thou, when people are not virtuous, finding faults when they are virtuous, being unhappy when another person is happy, being envious or jealous when he's happy. That every contact, every interaction creates disturbance in my mind. Yoga Shastra says, Mudita and Maitri. When you come across people who are happy, feel happy. You know, Swami, he got away there, look at him, he got promotion, I did not get promotion. You know something, we are all studying together and look at where he is and look at where I am. He was totally dull when we were studying together and I also used to help him in the examination. Look at where he is and where I am. Share in his happiness. See, when my son gets promotion, how I feel happy. It is not that we cannot enjoy happiness of other person. If it is our person, then we can enjoy. Just call him my person. He's my friend. He's mine. And make his happiness your happiness. Then you are happy when so have affection, friendship. Immediately establish friend. Because when your friend is happy, you are happy. So therefore when you come across a happy person in your mind, oh, he's my friend. And share his happiness. Come across the person in distress, karuna, be compassionate. Be compassionate. So Maitri, karuna, those are in distress. Don't enjoy, even if you don't like him, in his distress, have karuna, have compassion. Oh, Swami deserves that. No, don't say that. Don't derive satisfaction from somebody's pain or distress. Have whoever that person is, have compassion for the person. Even if otherwise you don't like that person. When you come across a virtuous person, mudita, be happy. How great that person is. See, don't try to find fault with that person because you are not virtuous. But derive inspiration from that person. He is a virtuous person. You derive inspiration that I also should like to become like that person. So congratulate mudita. Congratulate the person who is virtuous, who is ahead of you. And derive inspiration from that person. So that you can also become like him. And a papi, a vicious person, don't hate him. Don't retaliate towards him. But have an attitude of equanimity that, okay, God has not given him the kind of opportunity that I had. So he is telling lies, but he did not have the benefit of the culture that you had, the very upbringing that you had, and therefore have compassion to the person, have equanimity to the person. This is all spontaneous for the wise person. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna. We hate a person who is vicious person. No hatred. We are jealous of a person who is happy. He is mitra. We ignore people who are in distress. No, he is karuna. So maitri, mudita, karuna, upeksha. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna is affectionate to all. The Swami doesn't deserve affection, he is affectionate to all. Understand that in the core, every person is divine, every person is good. Even what we call a vicious person, what we call even a criminal person. If you look at the core of that person also is a kind, good, loving person. If you bring his child before him, that person's love automatically comes out. Even a hard-hearted criminal, in front of his child, in front of his spouse, you can see his love flowing. If he loses someone that is dear, he also starts crying. That means that, even Ravana also was crying when his son was killed in the battle. That shows that there is love in him also. And that is his nature. Cruelty is not the nature, that has come only because of ignorance, because of the wrong samskaras, wrong upbringing, wrong association, whatever. He deserves our love, he deserves our compassion. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra deserves our affection. Karuna. Nirmamo nirahankara. Nirmama. Mama means a sense of mind, a sense of ownership. This person is free from any ownership. He doesn't call anything as mine. Then who does all this belong to? Even his so-called his own possessions also, he doesn't call them mine. That means the idea of ownership does not arise in him. You know who does everything belong to? Who is owner? The person who is author can be called the owner. The one who has created can be rightfully called the owner of what he has created. And whatever we call ours, really, who has created them, Everything is created by Ishvara, and therefore it all belongs to Ishvara. But this body belongs to me, Swami. The body also does not belong to me, really. The body also is a gift given to me, is it not so? I didn't create this body, it's a gift. No, but Swamiji, it's my hard work that I have achieved this much and I have created all this, built so much. But your hard work, that capacity is given to you. The talent is given to you. The intellect is given to you. The skills are given to you. You are not born with those things. All of them are gifts. In level of Swamiji, it's all given. So whatever we call ours is in fact given if you think about it. So Lord Krishna says, Patram Puspam Phalam, you offer me. Offer means what? What is meant by offering? Is transferring the ownership. When you give something to somebody, I am transferring ownership from myself to that person. So we transfer ownership from ourselves to Ishvara. We practice that. Actually, it all belongs to Ishvara. When you bring flower and offer here, from his own garden, there is a garden outside that says don't pluck flowers. Generally outside the temple there are gardens, flower gardens for the temple. And usually the sign says, do not pluck flowers. For Indians and women, they look around, nobody is there, pluck one flower. No, sometimes they put it here in the head, but sometimes they're a little more generous. And they go to inside the temple, give it to the pujari, offer it to the Lord. Lord says, even do that. Even though you brought the flower from my garden, offer me. It's all his garden actually. Even our garden also is his garden. To recognize that everything belongs to Ishvara. Nirmamaha. A wise person has no sense of mindness, no sense of ownership. You know why we have a sense of ownership? Because we find security from what we own. When I call this house as mine, then there is a certain sense of security. Any house doesn't give me sense of security. My house gives me. Any flower doesn't give me happiness. My flower of my garden is a special flower. So do we get joy from flower or from mindness of the flower? We derive a satisfaction, a sense of security and comfort from mind because we don't have comfort and security within ourselves. But as we discover that comfort and security of ourselves, the need to call things mine automatically goes away. And therefore the wise person has no need to say anything is mine. He knows everything belongs to Ishvara. I am the possessor of something. I am a temporary possessor. You know the land on which we built our house, how old that land is, you know that? Time beginningless. How many people own that land, you know? How many hands it has changed, how many times it has been sold, how many houses have been built, and how many houses will be built in the future. So when I call the land of mine, the land is, there is a sloka in Sanskrit which says, that this land and the wealth is laughing at this person who calls it mine. Say, hey fellow, so many of you have come and gone. I am here, you come and go. Nirmoho nirahankara. No ahankara. So free from pride. This false pride that we have. Pride because of my jati. You know something? I am born in this family. You know my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my this, my that. And we derive some kind of pride from the lineage from where I come. Kula, jati. I am a Brahmana and that too, you know something? We are the Brahmins belonging to this particular way, in this particular place. They are all special. So in the caste also, there are all kinds of categories. Classes are there in the caste also. In Patels in Gujarat, there are so many classes. We come to 6 villages, now that's a special thing. Come to 22 villages, yet another thing. Little lower. This, so we belong to Dharma. No, that is something special. Pride. From where I come, which family I belong to, where I am born. You know something? How many qualifications, what qualification? Long line is there, called Upadhi. Pride. Which college you went to? Oh, you went to community college. Oh, I went to this one. Which university you went to? I went to Stanford. And thus, ahankara, pride, based on my achievements. So when do we feel pride? Whenever we take credit in our achievements. But when we realize that our achievements are all possible because of the grace and the gift given to us. Is it not so? Lord Krishna says, Buddhir Viditatmananda, I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. And therefore, whatever buddhi I have, whatever skills I have, whatever capacity are all given to me. And the Swami says, when can you be successful? When you at the right place at the right time. You can be right place but wrong time, right time but wrong place. Now you cannot control whether you're in the right place. We were looking for some engineer. I just happened to be there. I got hired and somebody much more qualified than me didn't get that because he was not at the right time, right place. So a lot of successes are because of the chance, because of luck, because of grace. I could go to university because my father could afford that. My friend could not because his father could not afford. I became a doctor, he just became a clerk. Even though he's smarter than me. Understand that it does not make any sense to have pride on our achievement because all achievements and all possessions are also gifts given to us. Nirmamo, nirahankara, but ahankara also is necessary for us. Because inside hollow, therefore we derive some kind of false satisfaction from achievements because we do not derive satisfaction from ourselves, therefore we need to derive satisfaction from accomplishments. But when you discover satisfaction in yourself, you don't have to derive anything from anything else. Nirahankara, nirmamo, nirahankara, free from the sense of ownership, free from pride. Now this we have to practice. This is all natural, spontaneous for that person. So what is spontaneous lakshana or characteristic of a wise person becomes a sadhana, becomes something to be cultivated by an aspirant. Sama dukkha sukha. One who maintains an equanimity of the mind, sameness of the mind in sukha and dukkha, pleasure and pain, in all kinds of dualities, pleasure and pain, happiness and unhappiness, success and failure. Because he doesn't identify with them. Or you can say, he is a prasada buddhi. The happiness comes, prasada of the Lord. Unhappiness comes, prasada. Pleasure, Ishvara's prasada. Pain, Ishvara's prasada. So if pain is Ishvara's prasada, pleasure is okay, that is his prasada. How can pain be his prasada? That also comes. Pain also is the reality of life. If there is no pain, no gain. So pain comes for gain. Pain comes for help, for our growth. If you use the pain properly, it helps us learn and grow. So pleasure comes to encourage us, and pain comes to help us learn and grow. And therefore, he welcomes pain as much as he welcomes whatever comes. Sama dukkha sukha kshami. Kshami means the one whose nature is to forgive. One form of forgiveness is natural. What is forgiveness? When somebody has hurt us, somebody has done some damage to us, then our natural reaction is to retaliate. Somebody insults me, what is my reaction? It is insulting back. Somebody hurts me, I hurt back. That's called one-stab response. What is one-stab response? tit for tat. An eye for eye, a tooth for tooth. You remember that? That is said in the Old Testament. An eye for eye, a tooth for tooth. Mahatma Gandhi says an eye for eye will leave everybody blind. And tooth for tooth, they will leave everybody without teeth. So no. So Jesus Christ changed the equation. If he slaps on one cheek, don't slap him back, not eye for eye. Offer another cheek. Tough job, but that's how we have to grow. That's, it is not that I invite and slap, etc. But the thing is that even that kind of feeling and compassion, even for a person who hurts you. So even a person who hurts me, that one-step response is hurt back, or Swami is two-step response. A person has hurt me, insulted me, damaged me, cheated me, things happen. And there is a righteous cause for us to get angry. People do things and then there is a reason for us to get angry. That's not righteous, the reason to get angry. All reason to get angry, all reason to retaliate. And still you don't get angry. Two-step response. Swami says, look at the person behind the behavior. To respond to behavior is an immediate, impulsive response. But then to respond to the person behind behavior, a deliberate response. Swami has hurt me. Okay, how is that person? Person who is hurt also is a hurt person. A person who is in pain alone can cause pain. A person who is happy cannot cause pain to another. Isn't that so? If you look at our own behavior, conduct, what do we find? When we are in pain, we get angry and then we unload our pain on somebody else. When we are happy, we want to make somebody happy. So we treat others as it depends upon how we feel about ourselves. Meaning that when some person has hurt me, that person must be in pain. Though he deserves my compassion, does not deserve my retaliation. Thus discovering a genuine sympathy for the person behind the behavior. That's how Kshama is possible. We are just briefly talking about it. You can discuss this thing at great length, but briefly. Samadukha Sukha is possible, Sukha Dukkha, when there is Prasada Buddhi, when you give credit to Ishvara that he is my well-wisher and whatever he gives me must have a reason for me to grow, and therefore I welcome him. I cheerfully accept, gracefully accept, is not cheerfully, gracefully accept whatever comes to me. Kshama, cultivate Kshama. Don't try to take revenge. Don't try not to punish. Try not to take revenge. Let us try to become more and more large-hearted so that we can accommodate more and more. How Ishvara accommodates everybody. He is the self of even a criminal also. Suppose you are asked to become self of criminal, you refuse. People refuse to even perform the role of a criminal in the play. Children don't want to perform those roles. People want to perform good roles. He wants to become Rama, but not Ravana. I don't want to become Rama. Even roles they don't want to perform. You're not going to become Ravana. Come on, you just don't act as Ravana. No. But then, it's a role. So also, it is outwardly the person is like that, inwardly the person is always good. Some kind of ignorance, some kind of wrong notion, some complexes make the person what they are. So Ishvara is the self of all the beings. See, it is not Samoham Sarvabhuteshu Nave Dveshyosya na Priya. He is the self of all. He gives existence, and He gives intelligence, and He gives everybody, whoever it is. So wise person identified with Ishvara. He therefore accommodates and has affection for everybody. And that's how you can transform a person. See, by compassion you transform a person. So Mahatma Gandhi's non-violence was of the nature of transformation. Non-violence, not just not violating. Non-violence, he did not look upon that as just a negative or abstaining from violence. It was positive love for him. This story I may have told you of Mahatma Gandhi when once he was traveling in train, in third class compartment. Very crowded compartment. And he is at one berth, opposite berth. Many people were sitting. One of them was a villager, not a cultured person, doesn't know how to behave in public. He was suffering from cold. So phlegm was coming out. What people do in India, they spit right on the floor of the train where he's sitting there. Doesn't feel, the people just throw the garbage right outside their door. Mahatma Gandhi could not stand this. He was reading a newspaper. He tore a piece of the newspaper, cleared that thing and threw out. But that man got upset. So who is this person? What is he doing? Why is he cleaning? Again he spat. Again he cleaned. Again and again and again and again. This went on until the next big station came, Gorakhpur, where Gandhiji had to get down. When he got down, there were hundreds of people welcoming Gandhi with garlands. Mahatma Gandhi ki jai! Then this man, that villager, came to know who this person is and how he treated that person. And there was a real sense of prior repentance on him. He felt so. He fell at the feet of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, I'm sorry for what I did. I should not have done this. So Gandhiji didn't tell him anything. Just by his compassion, he did not show any anger, and he did not, He just did what he had to do. So that's upeksha. Be equanimous even for the people who are ill-behaved. Coming out of compassion. So when you give unconditional compassion to somebody, how long can you sustain your evil nature? You cannot. But for that, it's all only great people can do. We cannot do that. I'm not suggesting that you start doing it, but then this is the mark of greatness. Did it transform that person? That person got transformed. So Gandhiji said, well, if you are really sorry for what you did, you know something? From now on, when you travel, if somebody throws anything, you remove it. You don't do it, but when somebody does it, you remove it. As I did. That person got transformed. Samadukha sukha kshami. That kshama, forgiveness, coming from compassion. So, nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukhakshami adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukhakshami santushta satadam yogi yatatma dhrudnischaya. Describing Bhakta, Lord Krishna for santushta satadam, always contented. With what? With himself. We have to discover contentment with ourselves. What is the basic human problem, Basic human problem is discontentedness with our own self. Dissatisfaction with our own self. That's our basic problem. That we are not happy with ourselves we, let us say, dislike ourselves. We don't like ourselves, we dislike ourselves, sometimes we hate ourselves. We condemn ourselves. That's what is called sadness and depression. So when I start, dislike is there everywhere, but then now and then I like, so it's okay. But then when that current of thought of I don't like myself, dislike, when it builds up, you become sad. Further builds up, you become depressed. So all mental problems come because of self-dislike or self-dissatisfaction, self-non-acceptance. The solution is self-acceptance. But you cannot accept yourself as you are. Swamiji, I hate myself. You know the solution to all emotional problems? I think. You can give medication and stuff like that, okay, but ask that person to do something positive, positively good to somebody. Go to somebody who is needy and help that person. Go to a place where people need food, go and give them food. You cook the food and give them, don't buy the food and give them. You know what will what will that make the person feel? When you do something good to somebody, you really feel happy with yourself. I've done something worthwhile. Feel worthy in your own perception. That's the best medicine for sadness and depression. So, do something good. Go to old people's home. Read something for them. You don't have to give money all the time. Just give your heart. Speak to them some kind words. They're always in need of company. Nobody pays attention to them. Nobody talks to them. In India particularly, their children have abandoned them. They feel abandoned. So go and spend some time. Be prepared as to what to do. Read something good for them. Read a newspaper, read a storybook, say something good, something which makes them feel good. Give them company. And when you see the satisfaction on the face of that person, the satisfaction that you get is priceless. This discovering contentment from one's own self is the solution to all emotional problems. Otherwise, some entertainment is still discovering satisfaction of something else. That only makes me addicted. So I get addicted to drugs and I get addicted to pleasures also. And ultimately they stop making me happy. They stop pleasing me. Then I want something else. I want something more. I want harder and harder stuff. Then softer stuff doesn't make me turn me on. I need harder and harder stuff. But of course, here. So the extent to which our heart becomes pure, to that extent we discover satisfaction from ourselves. That is why we perform action in the spirit of contribution, the spirit of service, spirit of giving. If not all actions, at least one action a day, 2 actions a day. Go deliberately and help somebody. Write a good nice letter to somebody. Send a little gift to somebody. Do something with your own hand and send as a gift. Here is a woman who is 88 years old. She can't walk also, her legs being, she sits and makes all wicks for the lamp from the cotton, wicks, fills them in a plastic bag, sends to people who are performing puja. Do something, living. With your own, more you do with your, that's why in puja also do things with your own hands. That is when you really enjoy the puja. You buy sweets from the shop and then offer to Lord and buy garland from here, that's okay. Yome bhaktya prayachati is not a, it's not a commercial operation. Do things with your own hands. So when you make a garland with your own, and when you offer, there's a different kind of satisfaction. Cook little food by yourself and offer it by a naivedya, you know. When you offer food to your guest that's cooked by you, it's one satisfaction, and when you get it from the shop, it's a different kind of thing. Santushtaha satatam, but he is always happy because his heart is pure and simple. So more simple we become, happier we are, more complex we are, and more unhappy we are. We are very complex people. Our relationships are also complex. Always calculating things, always manipulating, always maneuvering. In every interaction I manipulate the other person to try to make that person do something for me, derive some benefit from somebody. So I always want to use people, I want to use everybody else. The self-centeredness makes me always use everybody else. Spouse also is being used very often. Don't use. You become of use. You don't use others, you make yourself useful. That's how you become simple people from complex people. A person who wants to use us to always manipulate. How do I manipulate so that he becomes useful to me? But no manipulation required when you want to become useful. No manipulation required. You become simple people. But Swami, you can't progress, in this world like that. If you want to go ahead, then you have to be complex. You want to play games because people play games. So you go ahead and become more and more complex and more miserable, that's all. I'm not suggesting everybody who has gone ahead is miserable, but more complex you become, more miserable you become. Let things come on their own. You do what you need to do, let everything come on its own. Doesn't come, you won't need it also. Santushta satatam yogi. Who is a yogi? Yogi is a person who has a mastery over himself. That's called a yogi. Person is together as a person. In Swamiji's words, one is together as a person. We are not together as persons because Swami, the moment I start saying Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, all kinds of things come in my mind. When I am about to do something, there are so many opposing forces. One part says to this way, other part says no. Did I benefit from him? One part says give him, no, snatch from him. So split personalities, all kinds of conflicts in the mind. Yogi, a person is together as a person. Who enjoys the focus, the mastery over himself, because a simple person. Simpler I am, more my mind is together, more I am together as a person, more I am focused in what I am doing. Then my words also become really, everything that we do has an effect, otherwise what we do has no effect at all. So my children don't listen to me. Nobody listens to me. Because we have lost the strength. We have lost really that power from what we do. Our words have no meaning because people don't respect us. Because we don't mean what we say. We are not honest in what we say. Even though I am smiling outwardly, inside I may hate also, I may not. So that means there is no alignment between my thought and my word and my deed, and therefore there is no power, no strength, no effectiveness. A yogi, one who is aligned person, alignment in the mind, word, and the deed. Yogi. Santushta satatam yogi. Yatatma, who is yogi, who enjoys the master of himself, yatatma, meaning one of self-control. Mastery over oneself means what? Naturally, Your personality is in your control. When your mind becomes your friend, Yatatma. Atma means mind. Not who controls the mind, but who makes his mind his friend. Lord Krishna says, Atmeva hyatmano bandho, Atmeva ripu atmana. Your mind can become your friend, your mind can become your own enemy also. By living unintelligently, we keep making our mind our enemy. Therefore, it doesn't cooperate with us. I want to do japa, it wants to watch for TV. I want to watch TV, it wants to play, it do something else. It's not with me. Yata Atma, the mind is with me. He's my friend. Cooperates with me. Dhruva Nischaya. One was Nischaya, meaning that one was committed to, one was firm commitment. One is very clear. What is in Ishvara? Nobody can swerve him from that knowledge and from that avoidance of the knowledge. Mayarpito Buddhi, whose mind and buddhi, both of them are offered to me, are centered on me. Yomad Bhakta Sami Priya. Hey Arjuna, a Bhakta who is like this is very dear to me. So in these verses, Lord Krishna gives certificate. He is dear to me. First, God is dear to me. Then I become dear to him. Then the equation is complete. Loop is complete. He is mine, I am his, he is I. So for Bhakta, there is no duality. I think with that we'll conclude our discussion on the 12th chapter. Whatever few minutes we have, if somebody has any questions, you're welcome to ask. We have a cordless microphone somewhere.
Swamiji, I read somewhere that there are different paths based on your personality. One who is Rajasic has to pursue Karma Yoga, one who is emotional has to pursue Bhakti Yoga, and whereas Sri Shankara says, Jnanat Eva Kaivalyam. Can you kindly explain this to us, please?
So they are not so much different paths. That's what we mentioned last night actually. That ideally we offer ourselves to Ishvara. It is true that for an emotional person, worshipping may have predominance. That doesn't mean that he does not perform action or he does not know. For a person who is more intellectually oriented may have pursuit of knowledge is predominant, but then he also is a devotee. Each one is all, but then one aspect may be more predominant than the other. See, even if you look at the compositions of all great bhaktas, these compositions of course express their feelings very beautifully, but they also express their understanding of Ishvara also. So knowledge also is there. And if you have the composition of Shankaracharya, then there is devotion also there. So everything is there in these people. Meaning that you have to cultivate all your faculties properly. Your devotion also should become, emotions also should become mature, your wisdom also should become mature, your vyavahara also should become mature. So Karma Yoga means vyavahara, Bhakti Yoga means devotion or love, and Jnana Yoga means we inquire at the level of intellect. Always should gain maturity, but the idea is that if one of them is mature, other thing also, it will help the other two also. In maturity of the devotion, there also comes maturity of karma and jnana. And maturity of jnana becomes a mature, because you see, you are a devotee by nature. You are a loving person by nature. And some misunderstandings and wrong conclusions and notions, they actually stifle our emotions. You want to love a person, but you can't love the person because there is some dislike for that person. Things like likes and dislikes come in the way of our relating lovingly to a person. So by the buddhi, by understanding that these likes and dislikes are all aviveka, as you remove them, your emotions also become mature. And so also your knowledge becomes real knowledge when it's mixed with emotions. So all the three are required. I don't think that... But yes, depending upon one's personality, one aspect may have predominance as compared to others. It's true.
Swamiji, what is the short translation of Patram Puspam Phulam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prachati? Is a short sentence now.
Patram Puspam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prachati. Prachati, Yah Prachati, one who offers. Bhaktya, with devotion. Patram, a leaf. Puspam, a flower. Phalam, a fruit. Toyam, some water. A leaf, flower, fruit, water, anything like that which is easily available when someone offers me with devotion. That is the condition of bhakta. That's the condition bhakta has to satisfy. So what condition Bhagavan satisfies? Tadaham bhakti pahrutam ashnami prayatatmanah. Of this devotee is prayatatma, meaning one of pure heart. Devotion can be there when the heart is pure. Purer the heart is, more genuine the devotional love is. Purer our heart is, more genuine our feelings are. So prayatatmana, of this devotee of pure heart, bhakti pahrutam, what has been brought to me by devotion. So there is devotion in the heart, and the act of offering also is with devotion. Ashnami, I partake of that, I enjoy it, I receive it. Meaning that I receive it also, or enjoy it, partake of it, whenever something is offered to me with devotion, where there is devotion in the heart, and devotion also in the act of offering, on the part of my devotee, who is pure-hearted, then I happily accept it, whatever it is. In short, it is not what we offer, it is the one who offers and the way it is offered. Even though the Shabari supposedly offered only fruit which are tasted, which means they are actually defiled and polluted. The moment something touches your mouth, it becomes defiled, and that we should not offer to not only God, to anybody and to any revered person. But she didn't know that. Sabri, she's a tribal woman, doesn't know these things. That it gets defiled. So Lord Rama understands that she doesn't know. She's not tasting to defile it, but she's tasting to make sure that her Lord doesn't get any sour fruit. So it is bhakti pahrutam bhaktya prayachati. She offered with devotion in her heart, and the offering also was with devotion. When you serve somebody also, your devotion becomes very clear, where you are serving. When you throw like this in the plate, it's very clear where the person is coming from. Depends on your mood, when you serve, your mood also becomes, expressed. When you do that, okay, person is disturbed. But in the very act of serving also, you can see how love is involved. It's not a formality, although formality also is okay. But what I'm saying is that, so it is not so much what is served, but who serves and how it is served. My devotee is serving me, doesn't matter whether the person is learned, is scholar, is born in a high family, nothing matters. Yeah, whoever that person, Shabri also is okay, Hanuman also, a monkey also is okay, and a bear also is okay, and a Vibhishan, a demon also is okay. What is important is devotion, bhaktya, and has been brought also with devotion. So not only offers me the sweet with devotion, but then he has prepared the sweet with devotion. So that thing also contains, is imbued in devotion. So when he prepares, then he offers the sweet to the Lord. That sweet is cooked by him with devotion, so the sweet also imbued with devotion, and with devotion is offered. And that's what I want. Lord Krishna says that the Lord wants only the bhava and not anything else. He is pleased with the bhava, with the feelings, with devotion.
It's a recurring theme, sir, in Sthita Prajna, characteristics like that, and the value of values. And again, as a bhakta.
It's a recurring theme. That shows that Ajnani also is bhakta and bhakta also is jnani. In fact, 7th chapter Lord Krishna clarified this. Arto jignasvarartharthi jnani se bhadarshana. So, the wise person is the best devotee. So, devotion leads you to knowledge. Starts with artha. You worship the Lord or remember Him only when you are in distress. As the devotion becomes mature, in maturity, devotion gives us knowledge. In maturity, knowledge gives us. So more mature knowledge is, more mature devotion is, and vice versa. So, but then Bhagavad Gita places devotion as a means of knowledge. So Shankaracharya explained that these verses in this 12th chapter, Yomad Bhakta Same Priya, that Bhakta of mine is dear to me, is only an explanation of the 7th chapter. Tesham jnani nityayuktaha eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnaninotyartham aham sacha mama priya. All devotees are dear to me, Lord Krishna says, but the wise person, wise jnani, a wise bhakta means a learned or wise devotee is most dear to me. What is wise? One who knows me is his own self, who doesn't keep any distance with me. So although our act of devotion starts with difference between myself and, but then ultimately love, what is love is meant to erase the distance, is not meant to keep the distance. You don't like, you're not very satisfied. Even when somebody loves you, but keeps a distance with you, keeps you a little away. Away in the heart, I know, physically there may be away, but still you feel that the person is not quite connected with me. Then you're not comfortable. So love is meant to erase all the distance. So devotion is meant to erase distance with the Lord. And who is the wise devotee? The one who knows Lord as his own self. So what is highest love? Highest love is for myself, unconditional love. Then he loves God also unconditionally because he knows God is his own self. Therefore the characteristics of a wise person, Sthita Prajna described in 2nd chapter are sarasa. They sound very similar to characteristics of the Bhakta described in 12th chapter, sounds similar to characteristic of the Gunatita described in 14th chapter. Sama dukkha sukha swastha, sama loshtasmakantana, tulya priya priyodhira, tulya ninda prasamsturi, mana tulya, tulya mitraya pakshayo, sarva anuparityagi, gunatita saucha. Samam shat. यो नैवश्यकेन द्वेष्टि न शोचने कांक्षते शुभाशुभ परित्यागी यो भक्त समय प्रियः समशत्रु च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण दुःखेषु समसंग विवर्जितः तुल्य निंदा स्तुतिर्मौनी संतुष्टो येन केनचित्. Bhakta's description is also very similar. So ultimately, because Atma is one, you become either one with him through devotion, become one with him through knowledge, become one with him through serving. So karma is serving him, that's one way of becoming one with him. Loving him is another way, and knowing is the third way. Ultimately become one with him. To discover that oneness is my nature. Not become one with him, discover that we are always one.
Swami, this is not a religious question, but is an observation. When you look in Christians and you go to church, you see equal number of men and women attending. You go to Muslim, mosque, similar thing.
No similar thing. No women in mosque.
I mean, more men.
Only men.
I mean, when you see in Jews, you see more men than women. When you see in Hinduism, in this country, like here,
More women than men.
you see equal number of men and women. But when you go to India and you attend these sessions, it's mostly women and very few men. What's the reason behind that? Is it because men are not as religious in India?
In general, men are not as religious as women.
This is his observation.
Well, you see, that's how the life has been sort of, all religiosity is on the part of women because they have more time and leisure to do that. And men are working, they don't have time. But usually a man's mindset is one kind, woman's mindset is of a different kind. Man is more extrovert, woman is more emotional. And that being the case, so when it comes to expressing emotions, women are more at ease because they are emotional by nature. And therefore acts of devotion with no emotion, they are more comfortable. Man, everywhere. In Christianity, because this is an organized religion, you have to be members of church, and so you go there as a routine more than anything else. You don't go there so much as a religious person, as a person belonging to a certain sect and belonging to church. It's a social thing also. In a way, it's not a social thing. And so women are more comfortable in that which involves expressing devotion or love. Men will be more comfortable with something that involves more intellectual. No, I'm not to brand one or the other, but generally speaking, this is what you find. So in Vedantic lectures, etc., you find more men. In Katha, etc., you find more women, or whatever. So, depends on where you find the comfort. But in general, women are more religious in India than men are. It is quite possible to say that. But still, there are many things that are confined to men. For example, this yatra to Sabrimala, when men go there, women do not go to Sabrimala. Hundreds of thousands. Everywhere this is very nice in India, this Padayatra. Short Padayatras, long Padayatras. I think in all states, in Gujarat it is very much there. I'm sure it's in all states, I'm sure. But many temples are all visited by people and they walk to these. They walk may involve 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 15 days. So Ahmedabad they go to Dwarika, they go to Ambaji, they go to Dakor, and so etc. etc. And that needs a little bit of energy, so more men are involved in doing that. Women are also there, but
Swamiji, why Sabrimala temple women are not allowed? Women are not allowed in Sabrimala temple.
I think they allow women only when they are past their menopause. Very orthodox views about purity, impurity, etc. And so they think that a woman in her monthly period, etc., they look upon sign as impurity. That is how that culture is. Don't ask me why is it so on, because I'm not really ready for those kind of attacks or questions. But the questions do arise, and so here you learn why. What's wrong with that, Well, the reason why Draupadi was not helped by anybody is because she was Rajaswara. So nobody would touch her. So these are explanations given. And so women are allowed when they are past their menopause, that's what they say. And so women do go, not on that occasion when it's crowded by millions of people. On other occasions, women do visit the temple also.
Yeah, Swamiji, I've read that meditation is continuous remembrance of God, not just necessarily sitting silently, but it's also meditation. Would you comment on that? Would you agree
What's the
with that?
second one?
I'm saying meditation, I've read, is more than just sitting silently. It's continuous remembrance of God in your everyday life. Would you consider that meditation?
And?
Continually remembering God, not just sitting silently.
You see, sitting silently and remembering is a necessary need for us. When you're doing things, then the mind gets easily distracted. When you're sitting silently, with your eyes closed in a place which is free from external disturbances, then that environment facilitates the concentration of mind. When you gain a mind which is able to concentrate under any condition, then you need not sit. Until then you need to. So, just as when you are recovering from an injury, then some physical therapy is needed, later on it becomes natural, but until then you need to exercise. So when there is a surgery and knee replacement, knee joint replacement, then you go through all those things. When the knee becomes strong enough, then you don't need that practice. So also we need practices in order to strengthen our mind and in order to create a habit in the mind. So we need that. We need to sit down silently. That's a practical need. Yes, it is true that ideally you remember God all the time. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara, Lord Krishna says that way, Arjuna, you remember it all the time. We start with remembering it sometime and stress that time so that someday we remember Him all the time.
Swamiji, it's 10 minutes to 1, so mine will be the last question. So, sometimes I get very impressed with the old system, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, and how they knew that everything comes out, drawing a scientific analogy, everything comes back, everybody is looking for the fundamental particle from which everything came. So whatever you see here is only name and form. So all of this is, to a certain extent, if you want to look at it, science has been struggling with all of these concepts for a long time, but these things have been there in our philosophy for a long time. So some of that kind of an analysis could be Mata-for business also. So therefore, from that point of view, the people who come back and say that the Bhakti Marg is very simple because all you need is devotion. But when you read all these verses and you find out what is expected of a devotee, they are not simple either. So I just, it is very interesting. There's a common perception that, that pursuit is not for me because, it gets into all of this analysis and thinking and everything. And yet they come back and say that the devotion is very easy, as if singing a bhajan or something is accomplished everything. But yet the true bhakta, what he is as difficult as all of the other things also. So there's no, just, perhaps the Bhakti Marg is popular because of the fact that the people who teach that particular way don't really get into any analysis of the nature of God and things like that. Is that, am I...
No, you see, ultimately it all amounts to self-growth. And therefore, it is said that repeating name of God or maintaining the thought of Ishvara, either through Shravanam, Mananam, Smaranam, etc., is purifying, and those qualities will be developed. So, Dveshta Sarvabhutanam, etc. will come to you as your mind becomes pure or mature by constant remembrance and service and meditation of God. That's one way. by reflecting upon God, understanding Him more and more, that understanding as it gets reflected in your behavior, this quality will come to you.
So one is top down and one is bottom up approach.
Well, one is putting understanding into life to be a mature person. One is putting your emotions into life to become a mature person. One is putting service into life to become a mature person. So Karma Yoga is part of service. And so Bhakti means basically Shravanam, listening to Ishvara's glory. Kirtanam, remembering, singing His glory. Smaranam, remembering His glory. Meaning that trying to imbue your mind with thoughts of Ishvara, which has the effect on your mind, transform it. And you get transformed a person like this. Or your understanding also, as it changes, you get transformed into a person like this. Or the very service. So more and more selfless you become, more and more transformed you get. So that way some people think they are all independent parts, and then perhaps it is true also that each one has the capacity to transform you. So it's ultimately what we call the spiritual path is a path of transformation. From what we are to what we should be. So that's why, as the Mantravadi is saying, that they all sound similar, but as I said, a jnani has become that through constant reflection, inquiry, and clear understanding, but that understanding being put into again practice. So then that practice becomes, then that helps understanding, that helps practice. That's how it grows. This one is by offering himself to the Lord and worshipping and surrender. That helps his devotion, and it's always a spiral, upward spiral. Or a Karma Yogi also is always offering himself to the Lord. So everybody is offering himself. One through understanding, one through devotion, one through service. And so, it shows, when you say that independent parts means that each one of them has the potential of helping you to transform and reach that stage. We need not object to that also. We need not object to that. Best is to combine all of them because we are all the three. But still, one of them is predominant in each one of us.
With this, the next item will be lunch, and Swami, we'll do a little arti here. We'll ask Swamiji to do a Mangalarti here, and then he will give the bookless and prasad. We have a book